Well, you know what they say, almost Christmas means it wasn't Christmas. But yeah, hello, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a very nice holiday so far, because frankly speaking, it's Christmas Eve. What are we even doing here? A lot, actually, but frankly speaking, yeah. Been a bit of a slow one for me. I expected more. I expected weirder, but at the same time, I'm having a pretty good day myself. I hope you are as well. Also, this song sounds familiar. Yeah, you're right, it's Mario Kart music. Or it could be I'm Walking on Sunshine, who knows, but I'm not gonna get copyright written for that. But, if anything, what can I say other than we've got time on our hands, we're not really doing much. I suppose a spicy one-off might be a good idea, so yeah. Vampire Survivors, a thing I have played all of 5 minutes of, so pretty decent idea in my head. It's been slow and it's been laundry. You know, frankly speaking, I feel like this is just how it is for adults on Christmas anyway, but honestly, that's about the long and short of it as I see it, but ultimately it just goes to show. I've actually gone out and did a bit of grocery shopping on my end anyway, so frankly speaking, slow is as slow does, so I can't complain at all. What I can complain about is, hey, did you know that this game actually refuses to run natively in OBS? It's weird, but at the same time, I don't know how to deal with it. So this is running off of a window capture. It's kind of funny how that works. Honkai refuses to work outside of admin mode, and this is just plain weird on its own, so needless to say, I think it's a bit of a banger myself, just off of a little bit of playtesting I've done, so I hope to see. And how does that work? You actually have to set up a capture within OBS to show the window itself. Rather than it just natively finding an exe file, the window itself needs to be captured. I don't know how to explain it other than it's if you set it to game capture, it's not going to do anything. Frankly speaking, it's a new one, but that's just how it is. In any case, I feel as though this is a bit of a slapper, but at the same time though, with Castlevania, the asset flip game, so yeah. If anything, the fact of the matter is, I am not familiar with Garlic Lex in the slightest. I've seen a little bit of 20 Minutes to Midnight, I've seen a little bit of Hollow Cure. I have Hollow Cure. I haven't put much work into it, but in any case though, hey look, power-ups. Collect money, get things. Is that tiramisu? It definitely looks like it, but let's see here. Greed? Greed makes me feel good. Max health, though, is a thing I'd need, though, which I don't have money for, but that's the idea. We're gonna get money, we're gonna get rich, we're gonna kill Dracula. Why? Because he owes me money. Which, of course, means, hey, look, Antonio Belmont. Also, yeah, let me know how the music is. Frankly speaking, I've only done a little bit of playtesting on my end, and I have to say, the music alone sells me on it. Also, a little bit of the, how do I put this, dopamine receptors going. Moon Knight and Castlevania, sued, exactly. We said it before, they literally have knockoff Bayonetta on the covers, so what does that tell you? It tells me that your $3, or rather $4, are spent well. They know what they're about. Tasteful reassessment of the things you love. Speaking of the things you love, how are you people feeling on this Christmas Eve? Because frankly speaking, I know we just said it's a little bit on the mundane side, but I see that as a net gain in my opinion. It can be slow. I don't particularly mind. I'm not much of a holiday entertainer, you know? Especially with this holiday, frankly speaking, I'm still looking for an apartment, so best I can say is I will take my Christmas nice and wow, it's still cold outside though. Personally speaking, the best I can say is you people can stay in your house. I could use another whip though. At the very least, though, I've done enough celebrating on my end for a couple of years. I did actually go to a church reception a couple years back, and it was pretty nice. Probably one of the first times I've actually experienced that, and frankly, I wouldn't mind going again. It's just, I really gotta find a place I actually trust with that, but knock knock, open up the door, it's religion. If anything, I'm just of a mind of, the holidays should be about spreading cheer. Which is kind of why I'm just here thinking to myself, what makes you cheerful at these times? My Christmas Eve has been more tame on my end, having watched bad Christmas reviews. You told me about that. You were looking at a review of 8 Crazy Nights on account of the fact that it's the Adam Sandler movie of all time. Which is a shame considering what you told me about how that movie was actually pitched, and then Adam Sandler into Adam Sandler stars in a movie that was so critically panned we don't know why it's still being played. I'm just over here thinking to myself, can we nominate The Wedding Singer as a Christmas movie instead? I feel like that's the only Sandler movie I actually care about. I know Happy Gilmore is good, but Oh look, another Bible. And make it spin. If we can use religion, we can surely win. What makes me cheerful is being a bitter boy. You're not wrong. What do you mean, my son is also my brother in salt? Apparently Adam Sandler was put on record saying maybe we should have made this movie live action instead of animated. You know what? Considering the fact that the reviewers themselves spoke of how it kind of made them see it as a family movie from the start, which, you know, is in of itself a damning factor of animation, but even still, it's not great to say the least. But then I'm also remembering Christmas with the Cranks, and that's kind of the same thing, but a little bit less of what it is, you know? I can't tell if that's a bad holiday movie, but at the same time, I have no interest in watching it. Okay, alright. They're here to rattle me bones. I'm not alright with that. Ooh, this looks real good.
Good.
Don't you just love the jackpot? Don't you just love the magic wand? I actually read something that's more tragic than 8 Crazy Nights, so what may that be? I am a little bit scared of what that may be. I'm just thinking to myself, you know how we like Die Hard as a Christmas film? Apparently somebody also came out with the idea that Die Hard is a Metroidvania film, considering the fact that the main character is just like, beat up the terrorists to get higher and higher up the stairs, and it's just like, you know what, this works. Which also has me of a mind of, hey, remember when Castlevania Requiem was a thing? And I'm just like, you know, if we never get another season of Netflixvania, I won't complain. I really won't. Mostly because I'm thinking to myself, why skip Simon? There's so much to work with here. Have I heard of Street Kids? Censored because I don't know how to actually say that word, but I really have not heard of that. Can you enlighten me a bit? I don't know these words of which you speak. Okay, so I am expecting a little bit of a tale with this. Just as I am expecting the entire world to come from my neck with this. Look at that. You planted flowers. Alright, once again, just gotta collect the gems to get the rewards to end up maybe finding some garlic. And maybe some health. That should do it. I will say though, from what I've seen of this game, there are some absolute pay dirt moments in this that just go, you know what, this is what you came here for. You like the jackpot, don't you? Speaking of...
Witness your doom!
That's nice. Can I please have it? Thank you. Alright, we've got a little bit of everything. Bats, bones, giant praying mantises. You would not expect that, but anything works. If anything, I'm just over here thinking to myself, how bleak can we get with this? Also, it's a movie about a kid who likes to rap in Christmas with his school friends. It has such talents like Mark Hamill, Deborah Wilson, aside from Little Mermaid and Bella from Beauty and the Beast. Okay then, Rockstar cast, I think I understand. Where is the tragedy in this? I'm expecting horrors beyond my mortal reckoning with the way you're putting it. If you can pause for a second. I can pause for a brief second. I want to hear this, for sure. Where are you going with this, my boy? Personally speaking, I can only name a couple of movies off the top of my head that are actually bad, in my opinion. The second Ghost Rider film, but even still, it's just... I tend to have a pretty decent track record avoiding movies I'm genuinely not gonna like. Oh. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's that. No wonder. That is genuinely tragic. The only thing I know about that is the grandma character speaking straight gibberish, and then she comes out with Christmas, and it's just, I don't know who this is for.
A test of your reflexes!
Yeah, needless to say, the fact that I'm able to keep it out of my mind as much as I am just tells you I have no interest in this. I am not interested in this, as Alucard would say. Oh god, oh no. Oof. Alright then. Didn't do too bad for ourselves with that. It's literally only my second time with this, but let's see. Let's try someone else. Pasqualina, that sure is a vampire hunter name right there. You cursed the playthrough, you cursed the bloodline. You could say it's a bit of a curse of the moon. But yeah, needless to say, it's hard genuinely finding Christmas movies I don't terribly like, if not straight up indifferent about. I could name Holiday Heart as one of those movies that's just like, I get what they're going for. It's a little bit more of a tearjerker than it is an actual Christmas movie for me. It's just like, I've seen this stuff. It hits weirder than it should. But then again, that's kind of the experience with these kinds of movies. It's the modern day, well, I wouldn't say it's a modern day Christmas Carol. There's really no one like Scrooge in that movie. It's just a matter of local man just tries to be a good person during the holidays and realizes somebody needs a home, and it's just like everything about this is pretty wholesome. And then you remember when the time period this is made in, and it's just, yeah. Jingle All the Way will always be a personal favorite, or Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Don't you mean Grandma's gonna sue the pants off of Santa? Grandma would have wanted it too anyway. It's funny to think about how people consider that particular scene incredibly cursed, and you know what? If not for the fact that I grew up with that movie, I'd probably agree. It makes no sense, that movie. Also, Jingle All the Way is one of those movies that I know enough about it, but I have not actually seen it. I literally just got to see Kindergarten Cop for the first time a few weeks ago, and it's just like, yeah, Schwarzenegger, am I right? That part is great, and so is the song and all of the movie. What, you're telling me that you also like the idea of an entire court case being hinged on fruitcake? Yeah, this sounds about right. I also found out that one Christmas special, All of the Other Reindeer, was made in 1999, and I'm like, you know, for 99, this actually looks pretty great. Alright, could you leave me alone? I'm trying to get food. Speaking of that, remember when I said I did a little bit of grocery shopping earlier? How is it that I'm able to actually have a decent experience shopping on Christmas Eve rather than a regular Tuesday afternoon? Granted, it wasn't regular, there was a snowstorm about to hit, but even still, it's just one of those things that boggles the mind a little bit. If anything, I am just wishing my retail workers you deserve a break. How so? It's the fact that people were not corralling around each other in this pseudo-post-pandemic world we live in, and frankly speaking, I honestly just was able to get out of there and go with the quickness, you know? I can't stress it enough. I'm the kind of person who does not like to meander in a store, but frankly speaking, I'm just glad that nothing happened, you know? Also, you have a theory? What is this theory, if I may be so inclined to ask? Is this a Big Bang Theory, if I may be so kind to ask? And curses. I think it's the reason that it's quiet, cold, and everybody is probably at malls or at Best buying stuff that is calming. Would you like to buy Would you like to buy a Mega Ricci brand fidget spinner? It's funny, Carp was talking to me a few weeks ago about merchandising, to which I say, if it ever comes to pass that this is a thing that would happen, maybe so. But we're not there yet. More important is extending our reach, you know? Hey look, it's that famous movie, Knives Out. Which apparently got a spin-off film, to which I say, why though? Does Rian Johnson need more work? Or was it J.J. Abrams? I'm pretty sure it was Rian Johnson. Honestly, though, I can't really pass judgment at the moment. I probably still need to see it. If we ever get there, you bet your ass I want to be the one to design that shirt. We got shirts, we got 3D printed helmets for your bike, we've got obligatory lanyards. We've got obligatory keys to go on your lanyards. Where do those keys go? Into your heart. Because as you know, life has many doors. You know what, that's a funny fashion accessory that comes to mind. Fake key fobs. Imagine that being a thing. Also, I want to go back to that Christmas movie for a bit. You can go anywhere with Christmas movies, because frankly speaking, everything is Christmas until it's not Christmas. Which is to say, it's been Christmas since October 31st. If you live in the continental United States, you already know as soon as it hits November 31st, Thanksgiving does not exist. It's all Christmas. Merry Crimbus, Merry Crisis, Merry Chrysler. Personally speaking, I'm just of a mind of I don't have many opinions on Thanksgiving in the first place, so this is fine with me. We don't need it. It's the free meal day and maybe a day out of work. It's fine. Although there was that one year I ended up having to work on Thanksgiving and it's just like, hey, look at that free Chinese food for the staff, to which I say, yeah, this works. I like to see it as a food day. That's true, if only for the fact that people did not force me to eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Not even the fact that I don't dislike turkey, it's more the fact that people need to stop overcooking their turkeys. Just because the meat... Oh. Hey look, it's that thing I like to cook with. But yeah, needless to say, I'm of a mind of one of these days, if somebody expects a turkey at Thanksgiving, I'm going to brine it. Like, literally get myself one of those sports drink containers that you see at football games and just put the whole thing in there for a day. See how it goes from there. Or I could be like Shatner and set my entire porch on fire with a turkey fryer, but even still. It's just one of those things. I like to cook. You should let me get better at cooking. What's that? Dad can cook? You would best believe if you ever find me. Am I coming for Gary's career? No, but even still. Wait, was that really with William Shatner? Yeah, he did a PSA on the dangers of deep frying turkey. And then, naturally, somebody turned it into a music video. I'm gonna have to find that for you after the stream, but even supposedly it's just one of those things that's just like it hits closer to home for some than most. Why? Because everybody wants to experience something a little bit different. Me, I'm just over here thinking to myself, there's a reason people prefer Thanksgiving sides. There's a reason I suggested we have a roast instead, but you know, gotta be traditional. For who? The colonizers? I don't know. Also, you really want to talk about that, but you'll leave it for the Discord. Alrighty then, if it's too controversial, that's probably the safest bet. I like projectile speed. It's one of the best stats in Isaac, so... Ooh. What's it gonna be, chat?
You swindled me.
Honestly, that's not even bad. It just means more knives. To which I say, hey, take some of these. Needless to say, there's a little bit of the gotcha rush in this game as well, and it's just like, hey, look at that. I didn't spend money on this, so how do I feel? I feel pretty good. That being said, it's literally just $4, and they're still putting out DLC, so I'd say it's worth the money already. I know for a fact that everybody's friend and mine, Pat, actually got 40 hours out of it, so it's better than most AAA games these days. I am here, kinda. Well, kinda, Centrist. I hope you're kinda enjoying your season. Kinda. It's Christmas Eve, kinda, and frankly, I'm kinda surprised that things are lighting up the way they are. It's a joyous Noel. And we've been taking a few L's while we're at it. Family is over, so you're going to be in and out. Yeah, that's understandable. If you need to bail, feel free to do so. I wouldn't hold you. As long as you are in good with things. If anything, we're just kind of shooting the breeze, if you know what I mean. What's your favorite Christmas movie? What's your favorite way to die in Vampire Survivors? What do I actually get for this? What about... do I have any other levels? I don't know. What can I get with money? Can I get more Bibles? Not yet. What about... more health? More health is nice. Armor? Do not have enough money for armor. I have enough money for Common Rider Fies. Hey, fun fact. Apparently there is a official license available sub of Common Rider Fies. It's garbage. The subtitles are terrible, but even still, I imagine you should be able to find it at some point. What happened was this: the director of the movie was known to do animated movies on the cheap side, so some people wanted him to make a movie for them, and the director at the time was experimenting with 3D, so he thought it was a perfect fit for that project. Yeah, that's how you get your movie critically panned. Do something experimental and cheap. Personally, I'm not an animator, so what do I know? But at the same time, it sounds to me like it was a swing and a miss, and then the bat ended up in somebody's window, you know? Laurel, Laurel, Laurel. Honestly, this just seems like the general gist of this game. Boost your survivability by collecting the souls of the innocent, but yeah. If anything, this is the Christmas spirit for sure. Question is, can I circle around to get some of this back? And like in true Castlevania fashion, the light fixtures contain everything else. He decided to make an entire movie using that program, which wasn't meant for that, and the producers who invested in the money gave him $300,000 to make the movie in 6 months. So what you're saying is it was doomed from the start, like I said. I don't know, man. Seems to me like this movie is mocked for a reason. Ah yes, whip. There's even more to this? Oh boy. Where do you keep getting these facts from? Because it just sounds to me like this was a nightmare of a production. You know what, just seems to me like the garlic is putting in all of the work here, and yet we haven't lost yet. We haven't lost a single pip of health yet. If I could get my level up, there we go. More garlic. It's even better. It's good for your heart. So the program, right, you couldn't sculpt on it at the time, so if you had to design ideas, you sent them to the program, the company made the models. With little to no feedback, I assume. Oh boy. Honestly, it just sounds like a genuine recipe for failure to me, but that's just me. I'm sure there's ways to make that work, but it just seems like none of the ideas actually fit together the way they did, or rather the way they should. Alright, now this is playing with power. Okay, he was strictly warned that the ref sheet for the characters he said wouldn't work on their end. Yeah. Which he ignored. Yeah. Seems to me like no time to consider a program that does not actually work the way he needed to. Refusal to take criticism. Yeah, this definitely does not seem like the kind of thing you want for your production. At the very least, if I ever end up having to make something like that, I at least know how to avoid these things. Now here's a question. Do you think we could survive to the 10-minute mark in this? So far, we're doing pretty good for ourselves, so I'm hopeful. Now, if I could please get to that.
I'm fucking invincible!
So he was given the models to his team, which they didn't know how to work with, and so he was an absent director to his own movie. Lick. Vampire killer? No, it's the indistinct monster killer. Remember, you don't want to get sued. Even though I'm legitimately sure some of these are Konami sprites just reworked a little bit, but you know how it is. Sometimes flattery and plagiarism go hand in hand. Disclaimer, do not plagiarize. It's pretty illegal if I remember correctly. Whoa. At the very least, we're well past that 6-minute mark, so this is going pretty nicely. Just gotta keep on looking for things to help us along. Speaking of which, helping things along, I assume that movie did not make its money back, right? Okay, this is starting to get a little bit hairy. Oh, what is that? Well, that helps considerably. Oh, okay then. Give me my thing, give me my thing.
Splish.
I get the feeling I'm gonna die after this. Surprisingly, no. Okay, when the movie was done, the producers didn't see any of the stuff behind the movie he funded until he was given the DVD, a DVD of the movie. The guy invited his whole family and his father, who he had complicated relationships with, but gave him savings to start a real business, but he used it to make a movie. Oh, so what you're saying is he damned himself in front of his entire family. I'm sad to hear that. If anything, that's a terrible way for things to end up, but unfortunately, beds that you make, you have to lie in, I suppose. Honestly, it's just a matter of... At the same time, would it not be wise to just try to make a film company out of it, or is this not the kind of money we have to play with that regard? At least shop around the idea a bit. Get a small loan, to get a small loan, to get a small loan, to get a potentially larger loan, and then see where we go from there. But then again, I don't know. I'm not exactly great with money. I know some things about money, but at the same time, it's more... I know how to get money more than spend money. Okay, too many bats. Here's the problem, too many bats. But like I said before, this just sounds like a train wreck. Not even from the production aspect, it's just a matter of attitude. What did you expect going in? How much were you willing to put in to make it work? Apparently, not a lot. Which ended up just being the end result. When they all saw the movie at his house, they all couldn't look at each other in disbelief that the producer went to his room cause his face was so flushed with embarrassment until he saw his father's car swerve out of the driveway in anger. Ooh. Yeah, I'm cringing as I'm hearing that. It's not great. Honestly, it's not to sound rude about it, it just sounds like the kind of thing that ends up creating black sheep, you know? I feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, maybe you really should have gone and started that business.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's that? Even more garlic? Yes. And giant mantises. Oh no. Well, we did hit that 10-minute mark, so all the better, but oh, Lord. Get me out of here, please. And there I go. There's more to it, but I'm gonna leave it there because that's basically the whole thing. Yeah, it sounds pretty succinct to me. That sounds like a full-on biography of the guy, but even still, it's just one of those things like, yeah, not everybody can be Uwe Boll. Making bad movies and the nation of Germany pays you for it. Disclaimer, allegedly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's see here. Recovery might be nice. How much recovery? Enough recovery. How much is enough? We don't know. Will we find out? Not likely. Okay. What else do we have? Enough of that. Enough of that. Let's see. Okay, if we reach level 20, we unlock a new stage, so that should be our goal for this, I think. Let's try Knife Man again. Defender of the Day Man. Do you have any more stories like this? Because frankly speaking, I feel like there's a lot to work with here. At the very least, while we're going on this, I can bring it back to the holidays, holiday discussion again. You know any Christmas games? Because honestly, the only one that comes to mind is Yakuza 5, the game that's literally a series that takes place during Christmas, embracing the idea that it's Christmas. To the point that I was looking at songs for the pre-stream, and you know what? There's actually a song called basically called Christmas Wraith. So what does that tell you? Yeah, frankly speaking, if I had planned this out better, we could have been playing that, but we still need to play 3 and 4, don't we? We'll get back to 3 at some point. Admittedly, I kind of haven't been feeling the whole of the series, you know? I do want to play Judgment, I know that for sure. I think I do have more stories in my factoid vault, but I need to think about it. That's fair. I need to think about a lot of things when it comes to my own storytelling. It's a wonder I have stories to tell, you know? Sometimes actually coming up with facts and articulating them is a genuine struggle at times, but at the same time, it's the fact of actually getting good at it that makes it worth it, you know? I would love to play Judgment. I would like to understand what is the deal with Yagami's face. Why was he not allowed to be on the internet? Even though somebody literally ported Yagami into Yakuza 7 before the points came out, so what does that tell me? It tells me that these bans are a little bit redundant. Oh look, bird bombardiers. Although it'd be nice if they could actually get in the circle, but oof, I need to see this for myself. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to aim. I'm so bad at telling stories, but it's a matter of knowing how to draw people in and not linger on things. That's a thing I want to get better at as well, which is to say, hey chat, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Because if you know me, mine is mint chip, and frankly speaking, that's apparently a bit of a controversial take. Less so these days, but for a good while it's just like, what, you like toothpaste? No, I like having the ability to taste anything other than sugar. Ooh. Funny stopwatch, make the gold fall down. But yeah, needless to say, there was once a time where I posted a hot take, and it's just like chocolate ice cream on its own is pretty not worth it. To the point that you have to doctor it up with so much stuff, and it's just like, I feel as though I am in the right liking what I like. Ooh, Santa water. Remember, kids, Santa means saint. But yeah, for the most part, it's just one of those things that's like, I like a lot of stuff. I'll even take plain vanilla before I take chocolate, and it's just, yeah. I'm not a fan of strawberry, but at the same time, strawberry mixed with vanilla helps. More so strawberry sherbet than anything else. Well, more so, I like the sherbet more than the actual ice cream, if that makes any sense. There was a time where lime sherbet was the thing, and it's just like, I kind of miss that. Where did it go? Regarding ice cream, I like when it's sour, and you know what I mean. Are you a fan of lemon sorbet? Because I haven't had that, but it does sound nice. Then again, I'm also the person who enjoys lemon cake, so... Passion fruit ice cream is great. Disclaimer, I've never actually had a passion fruit before. I may have to change that at some point. Can you let me out, please? You see me? I am Conan, and I wish to be exiled. Is this a joke for anybody? Probably not. I recommend you try the juice before the fruit itself. Yeah, that sounds like a fair trade. I don't see you doing that with durian, but at the same time, somebody has. Think of it as a sour peach. You know what? That sounds pretty good in my opinion. Alright, 1 second here. I need water. That'll do it. But yeah, for the most part, it's just one of those things, like, I feel as though if it's not actually chocolate, then it does not need to be chocolate flavored, you know? Which is also a factor of, hey, look at that. The process of making chocolate is weird. What do you mean it's technically a fruit? What do you mean that the fruit is loaded up with so much sugar that, frankly speaking, I don't think it classifies as anything anymore. It's technically fermented bean paste if you think about it. Chocolate ice cream and cake is overrated for what you have to do to make it exciting. Yeah, not gonna lie, I've been eating yellow cake for quite a bit, and you know what? It hits good when you need something there. It's not too much. Which is to say, hey, look, I need more dessert options in general, but at the same time, what works, works. What's yellow cake? It's literally just cake, but the ingredients make it yellow. I would probably have to actually research the explanation before I actually tell you what it is, but it's relatively simple. It's just cake batter can be yellow. Alright, there's the thing. Your favorite cake is carrot cake? I don't know. I feel like the texture is not for me. Personally speaking, I actually got a little bit of an early gift. It was a slice of this cake I like with strawberry jam in it, and you know what? It hits real nice. Ooh, screen nuke, screen nuke. You just enjoy the sponginess of it? Yeah. I feel like I haven't had a legitimate sponge cake, but at the same time, if I have, I probably know I like it. It's just one of those things you don't think about until you actually analyze it, and it's just like, hey, look at that, free cake. Why am I avoiding the chest? I don't know. There's a lot of things in the way. In fact, they're just straight up gatekeeping it at this point. But it's getting better. Get out of the way. And what's it gonna be?
Say what?
I feel like if we're gonna play this again, I need to update my soundboard, because I really like making it work like that. Also, going back to ice cream, I do have a favorite, which I haven't been eating in years, and it's from Baskin-Robbins. What may, in fact, that be? Rainbow sherbet? Yeah. I legitimately haven't had rainbow sherbet in like a decade myself, and it's just like, I've never been able to find it. That, and I've been focused on other things, but at the same time, if you know, you know. It's definitely one of those things, it's just like, it hits right in the nostalgia. To which I say, I'm also thinking of back in the day when cotton candy ice cream was the thing they had in school all of the time, and it's just like, you know, I'm not one to judge, but 50 cents is 50 cents. And what did 50 cents get you back in the day? A lot. Back in my day, we actually paid attention when the giant praying mantis was guarding the chicken. Now, question is, did we unlock the thing? I doubt it. No, we're still not there. Oh well. Personally speaking, I'm enjoying this quite a bit. Of course, we still can't do much with the money we have, so... Wait, really? Your school had cotton candy ice cream? The entire district did. I think it was a thing, what with the ability to just buy things in bulk and sell them, you know? Keep the kids happy, but also turn a profit. Which is why things went up by $1 every single year. Inflation, am I right? Not even the schools will protect you from it. If you wish to know more, you know what, there's a Google joke in here, but I'm not gonna make it. If anything, my schools did have a lot of things, and frankly speaking, quantity was not quality. In fact, school lunches were kind of soggy dog water, if you know what I mean. But Ultimately, it's just like you work with what you get, and then you go home and then you eat real food. Either that or you don't eat the food and then you waste the money that goes into the taxes. What keep the school kids fed? What keep the cool kids fed? Their parents' money. And eventually I learned that, hey, look at that, I'm a high school student. I technically have options because I'm allowed to leave campus for lunch. To which I say, that's how you go broke for a solid semester. We had something similar here. Growing up, every school, and even the public schools, had crappy stores outside that sell fried shit by the cheap, but most importantly, ices. I've never actually had an icy, is the thing. Wait, no, you're talking about the... Are you talking about the slushies or the popsicles? Because those are technically those are technically different things under the same name, if I remember correctly. Either that or freezies, because I've had one of those before. They're alright. They melt too quick is the thing. The slushy. Okay, then I've definitely never had one. I don't know, it just kind of skipped my interest, you know? You see what I mean? Frankly speaking, none of us are sure, because back in the day, everything was the same. Pretzels is the same. And it's not even like we can't tell what these things are, it's just a matter of we need to see them in person to actually make a distinction. I've definitely had moments like that in the grocery store where it's just like, do you want beef gravy or do you want turkey gravy? And then you go in the store and it's just like, okay, I see gravy, gravy, beef broth, and also beef stock. But none of them actually say distinctly beef or turkey. And then you get home and they cook with it, you taste it a little bit, it's turkey. And then you find out that it was not, it was supposed to be beef. Also, wait, no, it's a slushy, but we call them freezies here. Do you also call fries chips? This is not a knock on you, it's just, we've had this conversation a couple nights ago, haven't we? What are you doing with that whip? You don't know how to use it. You don't have the tendons to do something with it. We call them papas fritas. You know what? That makes too much sense. I know enough Spanish to tell you, yeah, this makes sense. At the risk of sounding like a bullshitter, yo, to tango la panaderia. I probably butchered that like you wouldn't believe, and I apologize. It's like how pineapple here is called pina. Yeah, that's the thing. The languages all fit. It's just a matter of how you use them. You understood what I was trying to say, right? Could you repeat that again? No. I'm not gonna make my rep worse. Needless to say, Spanish classes back in the day failed me. I passed, but they failed me. Comprehension does not matter when you're trying to graduate. Do me a solid, I'll do you a liquid. Alright then. Yo tango un panaderia. En la isla? Or is it isla? I don't remember. It's literally been 15 years. I cannot tell you anything. Okay then, we're definitely not getting enough gems. Ooh. Or magic. Ooh. Magic. Ooh. Also, have I had an empanada before? I've lived near Spanish restaurants. I've definitely had empanadas. I prefer Jamaican beef patties, but at the same time, people would argue that they're not actually a thing, to which I say, get some culture in you. Apparently, there was this whole thing in Canada like 20 years ago where the distinction of foods was just like, hey, look at that. We could probably sue you if you don't classify these as a pastry. And it's just like, hey, look at that. What the culture doing? But you know, the thing about me and how I enjoy food is that I really do try to understand where these things come from. Not necessarily because they need to be authentic to me, but because I like to understand where they come from. Also, yeah, this was a real thing that happened back in the 90s. So, like, literally Jamaican immigrants to Canada were just like, hey, look at that, let me set up shop here, to which the Canadian government sent officials that were just like, you know, beef patties are not allowed to be called patties, you can call them a turnover if you want, but to which, from what I understand, Jamaican food sellers back then were just like, what are you talking about? There was a whole thing about this. I will find it for you later. Honestly, it just goes to show how interesting it is how things change over food and all of that. It really is one of those things that just brings us together. Which also makes me ask, what is your favorite food to have during Christmas, chat? It's good to be aware of where food comes from. Hell, half of them came here from Africa, but in Spain, but we created amalgamations of them. Yeah, that does make sense. Honestly, it's just one of those things I keep saying, it's cultural diffusion. Something that is apparently classified as a dirty word these days, and I'm just like, it's important to understand where you come from. It's also important to understand that these things are useful in other places as well, as long as you respect where they come from. I don't feel as though that's a hot take to make, it's just show some value for things is all. Also, you like pork on Christmas? Funny, we actually have pork on New Year's. Instead, it's for good luck in the new year. Pork shoulder, to be specific. I've been getting pretty decent at roasting pork shoulder myself. It's just one of those things that really kinda sorta gets up in people's air when it comes to having it in the house. Why? Because really, people are worried about their health these days, to which I say, you should be worried more about getting strong than the food you're eating. It's not like you're eating this every single day if you can help it. But then again, that's just me looking at things and just going, it's not about the food, it's about what you do with it. Anything can be healthy, anything can be bad for you. Apple seeds contain trace amounts of cyanide, and we still make the joke about Johnny Appleseed and all of that. People should indulge a bit more. Yeah, you're right. I will also say, hey, look at that. Me calling my Bible reminds me that apparently pork is considered not allowed in Abrahamic culture just because it has a cloven hoof but doesn't chew cud, to which I say, pigs are some of the cleanest animals in the animal kingdom if you allow them to be. They wallow in mud when there's no options for staying cool in the first place. It's interesting, but at the same time, I get where people are coming from. Okay, this is a bruh moment. We're not even level 10 yet, and this is popping off in strange ways. Okay, this is bad. This is very bad. Very, very not great. Anything can be healthy. Hell, even fatty foods, if it's just a matter how you eat them. Funnily enough, it's not even fat that you have to worry about, it's actually sugar. Fat will just burn off if you let it. Sugar sits in you forever. But, you know, this is one of those things you learn as you go. This is not me recommending the keto lifestyle, it's just one of those things I understand. I could not recommend keto in good conscience just because I don't feel as though simulating diabetes is a good idea. Not to mention, it's just one of those things that's just like, I don't really understand the science behind it to begin with. If anything, it's just like, eat a balanced meal of things that make sense for you and are within your budget. That's pretty much the human experience right there. Ah yes, good old Santa water. I assume there's menthol in it. And you imagine that? You're just out here spraying monsters with Vicks Vapor Rub. I feel as though it would get some work out of here. My mom weighed like 400 pounds and going through some diets, now she weighs like 100 or maybe less. Well, I would argue that's also a matter of dedication because, frankly speaking, there are definitely a lot of fad diets out there and it's just like, you know, what's the best diet? Diet and exercise. I say as I understand that, frankly speaking, it's incredibly hard to lose weight if you don't have the motivation for it. Not to mention, being American, frankly speaking, there are too many cheap and effective options that kind of just slow the process down, you know? It's like how some people recommend if you're living a pretty sedentary lifestyle, intermittent fasting is an idea. I can't recommend that. I genuinely cannot. Whatever works, consult a doctor first, but really, it's just one of those things like consider it. If it's a thing that interests you, try it. If it's a thing that interests you, consult a medical professional before you try it. I feel like that's something that makes sense. I feel like that's a lot of bats chasing me out of nowhere. The trick really is portions, and how you make your metabolism more active. That's the thing about it. I said it before that the body likes to trick itself into doing things that should not be possible for it, but at the same time, metabolism, that's that thing that just kind of trips me up, you know? How do I make myself into a more clean burning machine? Those are your Batheads, then why are they attacking me? Yeah, have they come for recompense for me being forced to kill other bats in video games? It seems that way. But there's no other explanation that could make sense. Each person metabolizes in different ways, and that's the real problem. Yeah, that's the thing about it. The human body is fucked up and weird. to the point that we literally birth our young alive, but at the same time, they do not have the ability to live for themselves right out of the gate. The human body is bizarre. You are correct on that, my friend. It's frankly one of those things that's just like, you know, I've seen enough of Warhammer 40k, but maybe the tech priests were onto something when they said that this flesh we call a temple will require maintenance in due time. I met a dude who ate like a pig and he was skinny as a twig. Yeah, some would argue that's the dream. Imagine eating what you want and being able to just never gain weight, to which I say, frankly speaking, me knowing myself, if you give me something strenuous to do, I can shed weight like nothing else. But at the same time, is it good for my mental health? Probably not. It was your neighbor as a sob. He ate like if he was about to die if he didn't. Yeah, I've definitely seen people like that. Personally speaking, I gotta wonder how the money stays afloat like that, but at the same time, I'm not gonna knock people for making it work, you know? And it's not like I've never binged myself, it's just one of those things, it's just like, looking in hindsight, that's probably why I've struggled as much as I have in my teens. Not to mention, not really being into sports like that, and just not really having anybody to explain this stuff to me in general, so... Congratulations, not only did I play myself, I was played by others. But hindsight is always 20/20, am I right? Speaking of hindsight, gee, where did my health go? I've been slightly overweight over the years. My weight has jumped around, but I've been more slender in my adult years than I was in my teenage years. But that's the thing, Noir. Sometimes your adult years are when you actually start figuring things out, along with your body actually conditioning itself. It's weird, it's funky, but at the same time, eventually things start making sense. And then you learn about taxes, and oops, that ends up just really stop making sense right there. Like me, frankly speaking, I know for a fact that over the training arc during the last summer, I dropped like 70 pounds just off of doing the work alone, and frankly speaking, that says enough about how I was doing, but at the same time, my daily lunches consisted of basically bread and water. So, I can't recommend that in the long run, especially considering the fact that the work was so strenuous that I literally went to bed and woke up in literal pain off of my feet for entire seasons, so I think what I got out of it, I got out of it, but at the same time, it was not a great experience. Okay, at this point, we're just kind of dodging and weaving. We're not really collecting things, which we should be fixing, but at the same time, I like it when the drift actually works. Speaking of things that actually work, hey, look at that. Bleach has one more episode before it leaves again, to which I say, I was not told this was going to be a seasonal show, but unfortunately, that's just how it goes. It's a shift in how the media is presented, to which I say, yeah, I'm old, aren't I? Back in my day, we used to watch it every single week and we were happy. Why? Because we got to watch it every single week. It wasn't about summer sales, it was about the quality of the product. Even if the quality wasn't high, it was always there and we ate it like candy. And nowadays we just go, hey look, The Witcher Mercury, you know what, this is pretty good. Honestly, I dropped massive weight when I was in college because I didn't have money for food, but then when I started working I was really active, but boy did I eat a shit ton of sugar. Funnily enough, I'm dead. But yeah, generally speaking, the real stereotype in American schools is just like when you start school, you get a meal plan, and then that meal plan accidentally adds 15 pounds to your waistline, and frankly, yeah, I know that feel from experience. It's not great. It teaches you how to deal with things, but it's not great, especially when you consider the fact that if you're not eating, that's wasted money, so you gotta learn to deal with what you can. But at the same time, that's just the unfortunate state of things. That being said, if you give me a brief moment, I need to check on some stuff, so I will be right back with you. Honestly, I'm at a point where I would consider the Castlevania soundtrack Christmas music, but that's probably just me. That being said, where are we even going with this? I gotta wonder. Personally, I still want to see if we can unlock that second stage, just so we could try it, but I don't know. I'm thinking to myself, this is still probably our strongest character. Either that or... how would I pronounce that? Gennaro Belpass. Once again, I apologize if this does not make sense to people, but some things hit better when I'm actually familiar with the language, you know? For a long time, I thought that Sypha Belnades was actually pronounced Sypha, but when you actually hear it, it's alright. But his name is dope, though. You're not wrong. I like him. I feel as though he should put on a shirt, but I like him. He's the idyllic Nordic barbarian man that everybody should strive to understand. By which I mean, you come straight out of an 80s action movie, don't you? I already made a Conan Exiles joke, but at the same time, look at him though. If anything, we just need to give him a sword. But yeah, back on the subject. Like I said at the beginning, Christmas music is definitely not a thing that exists when it comes to video games. You have snow levels and they kind of fit, but at the same time, is it really about the holiday? I don't think it is. Frankly speaking, it's one of those things that's just like, the genre is there, the intent is not. And then we immediately dive back into Mariah Carey and it just goes. I will gladly take white noise over holiday retail music. He'd probably give Conan a German suplex. I feel as though they'd probably just fight it out and then go see about making some women lament, you know? Quick question, what holiday games have you played? What holiday games are there? I don't know any. Once again, Yakuza is the only one that comes to mind because it just takes place during Christmas, and I don't think that counts. We could say Elf Bowling, but I have not played Elf Bowling. I don't think I want to play Elf Bowling. If anything, the ones that are specifically about Christmas tend to be junk. And then there's also a Postal campaign about Christmas, and it's just like, I don't have Postal 2. I'm not sure I would get much out of Postal 2. Honestly, that just makes me wonder, chat. If not a Christmas game, what's a game that you play during Christmas? I would argue Zelda games are pretty up there in terms of that. If not just for the idea of, hey, look, it's an adventure. Also, something, there used to be a Cast the Cross on Link's Shield in the NES game, and it's just like, yeah, I get it. Also, Jim Batter 14, thank you for that spicy follow.
Thank you!
How's your holiday season going? Do you play any particular games during Christmas? If anything, my immediate thought on all of this is just, it's nice. I feel as though HoloCure has more graphics going on, but at the same time, this is good for what it is. I like the Castlevania aesthetic more, to be honest. Not to mention the music is bopping, but I feel like we said this before. This is definitely good, to be honest, but I also love HoloCure. It's the thing about it, may or may not be showing my bias here, but I'm not terribly into corporate VTubing. I definitely have my favorites, Ina, Crony, but even still, it's not like I'm in the greater sphere of things. I appreciate what they do, but it's more like I just prefer to watch clips than actual streams, you know? I don't know what that says about me, what with the whole VTuber thing, but even still. It's more like I'm never awake to actually watch the stream, you know? If anything, it's one of those things that just makes me evaluate my own setup and just go, hey, what's an ideal time slot? To which I say, you know what, prime time in the continental United States is a little congested, but it works for me. And I hope it works for you as well. If ever we need to adjust that, I would be glad to figure that out, but so far, I want to believe this makes sense. Also, hey, look, it's Saki's favorite theme song, An Empty Tome. What made my follow spicy, and I guess not. I just played whatever I was gifted in the past. Maybe I'll start playing Pokemon Diamond and Sun more for sentimental reason. To be fair, I call every follow spicy because it's not expected, but it's always appreciated. Believe you me. It's like how I keep saying, garlic, it's good for your heart. It's technically a spice. Or is it more of an herb? Either way. But yeah, I do feel you on that. Come to think of it, Spirit Tracks was actually a thing I played and started within the Christmas season, so yeah. Also, you think garlic is a root? That may also be a thing. Onions are definitely a root, I know that. Either way, I tend not to sweat the semantics over it. I just know this stuff goes good with the things I'm cooking, and it keeps my blood flow going, so all the better. Are potatoes also a root? Actually, yes. Tubers are basically root vegetables, so... You know, can you stay where you... Okay, never mind. The holy water is the holy water, and frankly speaking, it does not do much for bugs because technically they're just bugs. They're not particularly evil. If we're talking strictly in terms of cooking, then I guess it would have to be a spice since we don't use the leaf. True. If anything, I'm more of a garlic powder kind of certain. If I did more roasting, I'd probably use whole cloves, but if anything, it's more like I prefer to use this more in a ground sense. I think we're talking strictly in terms of taste. I don't know. The definitions are not strict on this string. All I know is it keeps the vampires at bay, not really. And frankly speaking, it's good for the soul. Spice is good for the soul in general. If you don't got spice, what do you have? Would you consider garlic spicy? Depending on how you use it, garlic is actually sour. It's one of those things, it's just like, you use it for funk. You put it on other things and it gives a little bit of a kick. Nah, mosquitoes are demonic little jerks. True, they do actually drink blood, so you might be onto something with that. And that's why you should feed them to your frogs every time. Alright, let's see what we got here.
Hoy, what are you saying?
Not bad. Not bad at all. And then another one. It's the same thing. which I imagine should be good for our attack strength. Also, you want me to do the thing? Alright then, let's do the thing. Yeah, this is about what we expect on here. My dream house has a beautiful and diverse garden full of frogs and other little critters. Tell me about those little critters, because frankly speaking, I'm of the mind of I wouldn't mind starting a vegetable garden if I find a place to settle down, so... Are animals actually good for that? I don't know, but at the same time, animals are animals. You gotta appreciate them in this delicate ecosystem we've got. And what I'm appreciating, hey, look at that, we're actually getting up there in levels. Working also money. Maybe Conan in his exile is actually working for us in terms of characters. I'm hoping to unlock more, but even still, this is nice. Frogs are really neat. Actually, you like ones here. Are they big? Are they warty, I should say, or is that toads? Honestly, I have seen frogs here, which, frankly speaking, if you know where I'm currently staying, frankly speaking, that does not make a lot of sense, but, to me at least, but at the same time, seeing them outside on my porch just tells me either this is a happy little accident or a genuine biblical plague, but I don't know. There was a time where razorbacks were just traveling upwards the northern United States, and it's just like, why? How? I want frogs, little mouse houses to keep them happy and far from me, hummingbirds, ponds, spider, garter snakes, as opposed to a carter snake. But yeah, frankly speaking, it sounds to me like you got a plan of action. I hope that goes well for you. I hope this giant praying mantis doesn't murk me with its giant scythe hands. Also, you know what? Maybe there is a little bit of virtue to standing still once in a while, at least to clear some of this out. Secretly Kinds wants to see if it attracts fairies like they say it does. To be fair, I wouldn't be messing with fae folk if I could help it. They're devilish little things. At the very least, if you do have to tell them and they ask for your name, please do not give it. Below Scythe, as you can see, garlic. 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 Also, I hope you're having a happy holiday. I know for a fact that I'm enjoying myself. It's been quiet. That's why we're doing this instead. Also, you got a Samus vibe. I love it. In terms of the power suit or the fact of what I look like outside of it. Even still, thank you. I've heard everything from the Doomslayer to Kamen Rider to now this, and frankly speaking, I like it a lot. Oh. Well. Well, that makes me happy. Now, if I could not waste it and find more food. Fork over the goddamn candle before I smear your demi-guts across the road. Speaking of that, last night's S&T stream sure was
That's
a
a
thing.
lot of money.
It's very much a lot of money, and I'm glad for it. We need that money. Tax season is sure to be upon us. I know I keep saying happy taxes, but let's be real here. Taxes are never that happy. look. Now that's werewolves. Oh. Yeah, it's... Needless to say, this is not a kind world. Also, both of them, you know what, I'll take that. Personally speaking, I would not mind if ever we go 3D, we get some sort of Zero Suit thing going on, but at the same time, I like the vibe. Also, if it's okay for me to ask, how did you identify so I don't say something incorrect? Any and all is fine, I don't really care. If anything, I do say he, they in the bio, but really, pronouns are pronouns, and pronouns are kind of lame. As long as you're not disrespectful with it, frankly speaking, anything works. I've been called Dad, I've been called Mom, I've been called your Chief Bathead. Frankly speaking, just call me what you like. Speaking of call me what you like, what can we do with this money? Let's see here. One more projectile. I like one more projectile, but I cannot buy it with this money. Well, to be fair, if I were to explain the lore, I would have to do a whole thing on it, and frankly speaking, I'm waiting for the eventual day we debut for that, and frankly, I don't know when it's gonna be. If anything, I'm just enjoying what works. Which is to say, hey, if you want, feel free to give a nickname if you want, it's all up in the air. Ooh. Clarice. Well, that's almost my name. If anything, I see we have another goal to work with. But yeah, there's a reason I say pronouns are dumb. It's because, frankly speaking, we have fun with it. Is your voice naturally that astute and specific? I mean, I've been compared to a lot of famous deep voice singers. It's a shame because I don't sing, but even still. Oh no, don't worry, Sai-Sai, you were right the first time. Like I said, anything works. But yeah, frankly speaking, I wouldn't say I've had to practice to get this kind of voice, it's just a matter of, this is how I talk naturally. Surprisingly enough, it has not availed me much, but people say I have a voice for radio, and it's just like, radio? In 2022? This is a thing people this is a thing people listen to? Never heard it. I sound like I run a farm? Well, I would say one of these days I want to turn this particular channel into a business, but we're not there yet. When we get there. The capital G stands for good God, what is money? I'm just naturally a chill radio DJ. Well, to be fair, I want to find interesting music. Which I say, I'm gonna fill you with more obscure nonsense from that marvelous place called Japan. Which I say, you should listen to the 13 Sentinels Arrange album, it's very good. Honestly, I've always seen you as a Keith David type. Which is ironic, because, frankly speaking, if it were up to me, I'd style myself after Dave Pinoy. Why? Because I really liked Rodon from Bayonetta. If anything, the way he just says beautiful just tells me there's not enough black voice actors. I also really appreciate Keith Silverstein and how he's actually going to do things. I may not like Genshin Impact, but I sure like Zhongli. I also like Mona, but that's neither here nor there. You sound like Soundwave from Transformers. To be fair, if I actually do it with a monotone, we may actually be there. Or maybe if I do it with a sing-song voice like we're in the Cantonese dub, we may actually have something to work with that could actually be interesting. It's still funny to think about how apparently in the Cantonese dub of Transformers, Soundwave actually has to sing because too much monotone, and it actually reflects on how the Chinese language actually works. So it would just turn into straight up gibberish. I don't know, it's funny to think about. Soundwave in a deep voice GLaDOS. To be fair, people have it really in for GLaDOS, so... Am I spamming the Evil button? I think I am. To be honest, I wouldn't mind being typecasted like that, but at the same time, you know. Hey sir, you have more of that fang on you. You know which one. The garlic. Give me more garlic. I wish to comfy. That's not garlic, but I will take this though. But yeah, Jim, essentially the thing I want to go for is just, I would like to be that one actual cyborg VTuber, and I like to think my voice and my gimmick reflects that quite a bit. Speak the inscription? Wait, what do you mean speak the inscription? You want me to say words of wisdom? Well, we were just talking about food. Calorie counting is all well and good, but at the same time, it's about what you're getting in terms of calories. 100 calories of a chocolate bar is not the same thing as 100 calories of fruit, you know? I know this is a little bit of a cop-out, but at the same time, nobody's actually used that redeem in a long while. To the point that I actually had a thing of what the redeem's name is actually about, but I actually need to clip that sound bit. Alright, what thing we get? And now you're doing it again. You know, there was a real time in which people said you shouldn't wear socks to bed, and there's actual logic to that, because frankly speaking, that's how you get the gangrene. Or at least back in war times. Thank you, Florence Nightingale, for actually making that make sense. I'm sorry they frankly speaking spat on your career by saying you fell in love with your patients. I need wool socks on my feet. What you need is heavier sheets. You have poor circulation in your feet. Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm not diabetic, but at the same time, compression socks are expensive, I imagine. Also, frankly speaking, your hands and feet are where all your nerves are concentrated, so it's definitely the worst. Frankly speaking, there have been times where I've had pretty vicious colds where it's just like, my nerves are on fire. Please, please take me somewhere else. I have to turtle up to remain warm. Well, once again, I'm of a mind of you need thicker sheets, but unfortunately I can't do much for that. I'm just gonna say, if it happens, it happens. Maybe invest in a space heater if you can, but that's also something I cannot confirm. You know what, our DPS is not good enough for standing still. Which is a shame, because how do I get DPS if I'm not DPSing? There we go, and one more. More knife. And catch me, I'm in the flower garden. Personally, it's just of a mind of, I understand wholeheartedly where you're coming from with this. I may be making a little bit of a rip, but at the same time, if you can't find any way to make this easier on yourself, please do so. As long as it isn't illegal. Also, you have the forbidden spaghetti in your mouth. Are you eating more shellfish? Hair. Oh. You know what? I haven't had my hair long in a long time, but at the same time, I know that feeling. It's the thing that happens every time I grow my beard out. It's just, I don't like it like this, but at the same time, that's just what happens. Also, are you a fan of folklore? Or have you had experiences with the supernatural, paranormal, or extraterrestrial? If you're comfortable sharing, I mean, considering this whole arc we're on may or may not be influenced by dark powers, I cannot tell you whether or not it's a genuine supernatural experience, but I can tell you, frankly speaking, I've felt pretty afflicted lately. Whether or not that's just me actually calling my Bible and making it spin is the whole thing that I don't really know, but I am what you might consider a spiritualist, and I like to think I'm doing it right by just saying, hey, try not to invite demons into your life. It's not a good idea. If anything, at the very least, keep yourself on the side of light. Or maybe read up on a holy book just to give yourself a little bit of insight. It's not always about the religion. Sometimes there's just genuinely good advice in there. Also, you whip your head back to free your hair from your hair ties and the glue into your mouth. Yeah. It's not even... It's just like that. The hair is everywhere when you start getting old, and it's just like, frankly speaking, I don't know what we're doing. Why is it in my mouth? Why is it on my pillow? I'm not losing my hair, I'm losing my patience. Sometimes enlightenment is good. Sometimes enlightenment will save you in the end. To which I say, my body may be demonic, but my heart is pure. And then you go and look in the x-ray. Why do you have two hearts? What happened to you? Time to let go of my worldly possessions and... I mean, it's not even that. If anything, I just say, enlightenment sounds good on paper, but at the same time, staving yourself off from the world may be a little bit of a mixed bag as well. I've seen it myself. Frankly speaking, you need a balance of worldly and spiritual knowledge to make this work.
A test of your reflexes!
Well, that's interesting. Today I joined a prayer for the first time in months today, and I heard shifts in my room, so that's a thing. True. I would argue the more you start to understand things, the more life tends to shift around. Not necessarily in the spiritual sense, but more, you start becoming a little bit more aware of your surroundings. Whether this is actual spirits or whether this is just life kind of psyching you out a little bit. It's up for debate, but at the same time, keep an eye out is the best way I can put it. You know what I should be keeping an eye out for? Health. Where are the candles? I was told there would be candles. Oh no, the skeleton lords are here. It's Dark Souls 2 all over again. And just like Dark Souls 2, I'm Die. Thank you forever. Okay, based on that, what money you take? You take this much money. And apparently you're the potion seller. With your strongest potions, it seems. How about a little bit more? It's funny considering the fact that I've made a point that this reminded me a little bit of Isaac, and it's just like, what's my favorite build? Anything that involves Dr. Fetus, by which I mean bomb the entire screen. Also, got a dip, good luck. Well, alrighty then, I hope you enjoy your holiday season if you're celebrating. Thank you for joining. But yeah, this range is enormous. Where are you, Clarice? We could have used you earlier. Maybe we'll actually hit that level 20 like we've been working. Just hear non-stop Chinese fireworks? Yeah, I know the feeling. Sometimes it's just one of those things where you go outside during New Year's and oops, it's just straight up Normandy out here. Needless to say, it's one of those things that have made me want to move for a long time, but at the same time, what is money to move? Let alone housing. Oh look, another whip. Although, where did my range go? I may have duped myself with this. Man, always has a supplier. I still have no idea how he gets a hold of them. A hope and a prayer, maybe? I don't know. It's like how, for some reason or another, somebody always has a new fix, and it's just like, have you considered chewing gum? This isn't me making light of drug addiction, of course, it's just like, I don't get it. Where? And why does it come from? In my end, it's knowing a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy. Well, in my end, it's just straight up gunfire, so... Back in my day, we used to play a little game of fireworks or bullets. And nowadays, it's just all bullets. You can't even look at the sky and actually see something nice, it's just, we need to be as loud as possible for 30 straight minutes. And sometimes even longer, depending on how the surplus worked that year, but frankly, I'm not a fan. It's just one of those things that makes you go, it kind of poisoned the well for everybody, especially considering some of us actually have to go up and work on January 2nd. Honestly, it's just one of those things that just makes me go, am I a narc for agreeing with statewide fireworks bans? I doubt it on account of the fact of, hey, this is just straight up noise pollution. I'm not gonna tell if you're not, but at the same time, frankly speaking, please, at least be civil about it. at least understand that people actually have to sleep once in a while. Which at the very least, hey, ever since this whole fiasco started, I've been sleeping a lot better. I've actually been pretty good in terms of getting my health back together. People have been seeing it in my skin as well, and I'm just like, why? I don't fully comprehend, but thank you. Some people are just dicks for the sake of it. True. Sometimes dicking around is all people know. Honestly, it's the fact that I was kind of raised not to enjoy that kind of lifestyle that probably has me like, I can't relate. I like a good joke once in a while, but at the same time, I also like living. What was that one Blade quote? You already know, some mother always trying to ice skate uphill. Personally speaking, I feel as though it becomes more and more astute as we go on with life. If you don't believe me, look at the Cinnamon Challenge back in the days of ancient YouTube and how people have straight up died from spice poisoning. Personally speaking, it's not even for the fact of trying to fuck around and find out. Some people are just genuinely critically ignorant of what actually goes on. It's just like, I feel for you, but at the same time, maybe the fame isn't worth it. And frankly speaking, I also have to evaluate myself in that regard. Just like, I may be stupid. Okay, but sometimes that's just natural selection. That's the thing about it. It shouldn't be natural selection. We, as humans, have the ability to ascertain knowledge to such a degree that, frankly speaking, we should be a lot smarter than we are. But unfortunately, we're also kind of fucked up in that regard, and frankly speaking, we gatekeep knowledge from ourselves as well. And of course, knowledge does not always translate to wisdom. You can be smart and incredibly stupid at the same time. It's like explaining the difference between being book smart and being street smart. Book smart will get you somewhere. Street smart will keep you alive. Speaking of staying alive, what is this thing we're getting?
A test of your
Alright, more holy water, that works for me. So I apologize for not terribly commentating on the game, but at the same time, conversation good, conversation be poppin', I'm glad for it. I would gladly take more of it, which is to say, you should ask whatever you like of me. I am an open book. And sometimes the text may be closed, but you'll find it's more often open than closed. Okay, once again, maybe this is a good time to stand still for a brief second. At least get some sort of generation going. Especially since that just showed up over there. More projectiles, that's always nice. Question is how to actually make it more effective, but so far this is working. I can't complain. That white bat over there probably needs to go soon. Honestly, I feel like I just need to play this like other roguelikes. Build up strength as much as possible. Whatever works, whatever works. And then we can take out the Fortnite shotgun and somehow get off kills that don't make a lot of sense. Speaking of which, that's a thing I'm still thinking about. I really did not expect Fortnite to be as fun as it was, but at the same time, it's just one of those things. It's just like, I'm not very into shooters in the first place, so maybe that's coloring my opinion. I like it better when the game is zany rather than just a military shooter, if you know what I mean. Which is to say, hey, look at that, Team Fortress 2 is actually a little bit of a healthy balance. If only it had a healthy development cycle. As you know, after 9 years of development, hopefully it will have been worth the wait. And then about 15 years in, and I don't know what more to expect.
Good.
Another one of those is always good. And projectile speed at that, so I'd say we're in the money. We could stand for more money, but we're certainly into it. And here come the skeletons. Don't mind me, just gonna walk over to this torch, get a little bit sad, and die. If anything, I like playing COD games. Hell, I'm digging the new DMZ war thing in Warzone going on. Honestly, I would consider looking into Warzone, but at the same time, that's more Badger's thing, to which I say, hey, give me a second here. Yeah, go follow them if you'd be so inclined. They're the actual shooter VTuber, and frankly speaking, they do good work. Just makes me go out here, hey, look at that, everybody loves the Adidas line. I feel as though it's funny to see somebody like her straight up ruin Major League shooter players, and it's just like, it's a good time for everyone. Oh, that's a giant cross. I need more of that. I recommend DMZ if you want a fun time, but not Warzone. I kinda stopped playing it that. Yeah, that makes sense. I imagine you got tired of it, or was it like Halo Infinite and it just turned out to be a bunch of empty promises? Adidas line is underrated. For some reason or another, Broton actually showed up during a development conference for No More Heroes 3, to which I say, okay then, maybe we are idols after all. Because that's the thing, they do just bring cute women on for a conference and just to keep the eyes on things, right? Or is that me extrapolating, because I certainly don't know the culture of this. You know, people are just so sweaty and dicks don't know how to fun. Yeah, they don't know how to have fun, that's the thing. It's the sequel. The girls just want to have fun. Oh, my cross got smaller. Okay, I think I'm starting to see what's going on here. This character benefits from a lot of things at base level, more than big damage from one thing, it seems. I say that, and yet I borked my whip. Also, what did I eat today? I had some deli fried chicken, that's about it. Frankly speaking, I'm pretty good on groceries, but at the same time, I'm glad you asked. For some reason or another, supermarket fried chicken just has been doing it well for me, namely because I don't care much for Popeyes or KFC, and frankly speaking, what does that say about me? It's me actually learning how to cook. Has me a little bit spoiled for how I like things, especially a meat to flour ratio. I don't like soggy chicken, I don't like chicken that's all flour. In fact, depending on how late at night you have me eating, I may or may not be coughing up that flour again. It's not a good time. I don't know. Frankly speaking, it's good in a pinch, but at the same time, if I'm given a choice, I will gladly go to a grocery store instead. Grocery pre-made chicken is great, but yeah, that's the thing. It also runs a gambit of just being too much like the things I don't like. I love that with good bread or rice. You're right, and you should say it. Frankly speaking, anything can go great on rice. Okay, I please have some more damage. You know what? I'll take another whip. Just in case. What's that? I can dual wield whips. Like what they used to do in the frontier times? I would hope so. Let's stand for more though, and we should be coming up on that. If I can just keep on dodging and weaving. Oh look, a red gem. I still want to see what it takes for us to actually get to level 20, but so far this is working. I just hope I don't jinx myself. Okay, but real question, as opposed to a fake question. Chicken or turkey? Chicken. We already had this discussion. Turkey is too dry when people cook it the way they do. Chicken, at least, is more versatile. You can still overcook it, but at the same time, you can make it work well. Whereas this turkey, which you have to do a certain way, otherwise you're just wasting your time. And it's not even for the fact that it's not good protein, it's just a matter of the fact that most of the time, trying to make it taste better is a little bit of a net negative. Why? Because either way, somebody's gonna be upset about it. More often than not, people just care about the skin of a turkey than anything else. Turkey is so white, I heard it listen to Vanilla Ice, unironically. I would be inclined to make another joke, but I won't. I know somebody has favorites out there, and frankly speaking, me, being of a certain persuasion in terms of ethnicity, am inclined to keep my mouth shut on account of the fact that I am not so into the rap game that I don't know how to respect other people's tastes. Fun fact, it's basic Cuban food to eat fried pigskin. You're right about that. Is that chicharrones, or am I thinking of something else? Also, Connie, hello, it's been a while. How's your holiday going? Alright, well then I'm glad it's going good for you. Frankly, we've been having a time here. We're playing Vampire Survivors on account of the fact that a good holiday one-off is what the doctor ordered in my opinion, and it's going good. So good, in fact, that hey, gotcha. Personally speaking, this has been pretty lit in my opinion. I frankly cannot complain about this. Personally speaking, I haven't had legitimate chicharrones myself. We just have bagged pork rinds here in the States, but I'm pretty sure you have to make them yourself in order to get that to happen. Frankly, I didn't have the know-how nor the say-so to do so. Once again, is that say-so spelled with an I? Possibly. Also, we were talking about pork shoulder earlier and why it's great for Christmas. This is true. I've had pork shoulder before. I've made soup with pork shoulder. I've made pork shoulder sandwiches. I've actually fed people with this stuff. It's cheap, it's effective, it takes in spice very well, and frankly speaking, more people should be eating it. But the Bible says no. Which I say, the Bible also says you should not mix fabrics together, and people do it anyway, so pray on it a little bit. Also, when I was young and we went to Cuba to see my family for Christmas, we took a pig and raised the skin. It was delicious. Honestly, it's the thing about it. I would like to make authentic pork belly at some point in my life, but at the same time, I would have to have my own kitchen, and I'd have to know my own butcher, and I'd have to have the setup. What is the setup? And the setup is the setup. Therefore, setting it up is a little bit of a setup in of itself, and frankly, I don't have the time nor the place to set that up. You know what I'm setting up? Do I do that bit too much? I gotta wonder at times, but frankly speaking, I don't know. But yeah, it's the thing about it that just has me like, I want to experiment with all the foods. At one point I was considering what would it take to order venison. And apparently there are sites for that. It's just like, I kinda don't trust these things. What do you mean there's an entire site dedicated to game meat? I haven't seen it in years, but I know it exists. Yeah. You think you can stop me with plants? Well, you should have actually planted them in a circle. Although, it'd be nice to actually get some consistent damage off. We're kind of dragging in terms of leveling up at the moment. You know, it would be nice to have a Bible as well. At least a little bit of AoE. And here come the skeletons to tell me to screw off. And they converge hard. Okay then. Seems to me like we might need to do a little bit more leveling. What about projectiles? Do I have enough to get projectiles? I do not. These weapons 2 times faster per rank. I do like the sound of that. Alright, let's do it again. Although... Mort. You out there with the soundboard, you know what this calls for. We'll get that shortly. Do you too wish to enter the Bone Zone? I imagine you might. Although, part of me is just over here like, if we continue to just use holy water, would that be better or worse? I imagine we're not going to get much of a choice. Yep, definitely not. Although, giant axe... Honestly, if I could just keep big things like this, I would gladly not take leveling up. It's just, I need more damage. Ooh. I don't know, chat. I gotta wonder, for those of you who have played Castlevania, do you have a favorite sub-weapon, and why is it the cross? And a Labra. Alrighty then. They brought back the menorah. Alright, so far so good. Just dropping the hammer on them and making a scene of it. Ultimately, it's just one of those things like, I feel like I'm getting the gist of what needs to happen, but at the same time, how it happens is unclear and ultimately just a matter of, am I getting lucky? Well, my axe is smaller, so I'm definitely not lucky. If anything, I'd say my luck is in the pits with this, but oh well. Life happens like that. I haven't gotten any gold either. Can you drop this over here? Ooh. Very good. You know, since the Steam sale is currently the Steam sale, I gotta wonder, chat, what's something on your holiday list that you've been looking at? Personally speaking, I've just been looking at all those things I haven't been able to buy for years and ultimately wondering, will they contribute to the stream? I gotta wonder. Because frankly speaking, I still want Ryza, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't trust Koei's pricing strategy. I hear Tales of Arise is also very good, and I also hear people have not finished it. I'm just like, maybe I should play Berseria first. At least for the stream, I think it's alright. I'm over here thinking to myself, hey, look at that, it's Angry Christina V. Nothing can go wrong with this. I'm also here thinking to myself, Evil West might be nice. And actually, it's Doom, but Cowboys, I think I would like that. I wish it were a little bit on the cheaper side, but it did just come out. I'm also wondering if Darktide has a single-player mode, just to see if I can hold up on my internet, but at the same time, it's one of those things, it's just like, we make this a goal for a reason. There's so much stuff out right now, and I don't have to play Scorn to enjoy it. Darktide does have a single player. Well, that makes it an option for sure. You can make it a private match. Okay, so it does not scale for being one person, is that right? Because I'm just of a mind of, if it requires me to use a server in order to go in there, it may be a little bit of a drain trying to access it and keep the stream going, but at the same time, it's just a matter of, I need better internet. Which is a thing I will have to assess once I have a more stable place to be, you know? It will keep you plus 3 bots. Yeah, that's fair. Question is, how does the AI behave in that game? More importantly, can I play as a Sister of Battle? Because I feel like I was just saying to Noir how that would be interesting. Sadly, bad info. It's basically multiplayer, but by yourself. The AI is terrible. Ah. Oh. It's all IG. I unfortunately don't know all of the acronyms. Are they making a Warhammer movie? I don't know for certain. I just know that everybody's favorite Jerry from the River, Henry Cavill, kinda sort of left his role as Superman for the sake of it, and it's just like, is this real or not? Imperial Guard. Okay, fair enough. To be fair, do we really consider the Systems of Battle Space Marines, or is that just, they do the same work? I'm over here thinking to myself, when can I play as the Custodians, aka the Pillarmen? Because frankly, if I really played the tabletop, that would be my go-to. Anything I'm just of a mind of, hey, you should go watch If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device and maybe tell Games Workshop to address their policies on parody content, because frankly speaking, you would put in more work for a run-of-the-mill pay-to-win mobile game than people who actually advertise your content for free. I think that needs to stop. Also, I don't know of a game that has the custodies aside from the tabletop. You're right, I'm just speculating on the idea. Personally, it would make me happy. Which, honestly, I would think would be a good idea, considering the fact that custodies outrank the Astartes, but at the same time, it's just like, you're gonna get your sauce off either way, as long as there's an Ultramarine on screen, aren't you, GW? I am sick of Gilliman and his constant good boy attitude. Right, gotta dip again. You are now driving. Alrighty then. I hope the roads aren't frozen over for you. If anything, stay safe out there. Okay, bats. We are the bats. The bash. Michael, it's your birthday today. Or should I say Joshua? Oh, wait. Let's see. What are we working here?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like it. I really like it. I also wish I had more of this. Why not just torch everything in sight? It works. The old voice speak of cleansing fire. And frankly speaking, maybe we should listen. I'll take another Bible though. There's no protection like divine protection, am I right? Although, divine protection would be nice with a little bit more damage as well, but we'll get there. I want to believe we'll get there as long as we don't let them converge on us too hard. The ability to freeze them in place has also been nice. Okay, I hear a lot of damage, but I don't see a lot of damage. If anything, I'm just like, it'd be nice if we could just clip them. But at the same time, that's not how this works. Whoa. Yeah, that'll work. Of course, I also see a thing that I couldn't use down there. Can I get to it faster? Unfortunately, the only thing you can do in this game is move and select, so There's no such thing as a run button. What are you talking about?
Good.
Alright, clear the way, please. The calcium is deposited, and frankly speaking, you're looking at an audit. At the very least, the skeletons don't seem terribly strong. They just gang up on you like crazy. It's also helping that I can just collect without really having to think about it with this range. And it's like, yeah, things are opening up for me, and I'm glad. I'll take more armor while we're at it. What can be said other than things are coming up, Chief Bathead? Also, those are wolves. What more you got? This all you have to muster. Honestly, it's just making me imagine what would be max whip speed, because I'm imagining the Cressigrim from Symphony of the Night, or the Velvet Way if you're a zoomer, but even still, it's just one of those things like, it seems like you have a lot of build potential here, and this is a lot of death. But the potential is there, and that's all that matters. If anything, we need a bit more money. Let's see here. Let's try something else here. Permanent +1 projectile on all weapons. Yeah, more of that. I enjoy the Barbarian quite considerably. Which also makes me wonder, Chad, while you're looking at this, do you have a personal favorite in regards to the characters we've unlocked so far? I want to see what the Skeleton Man is like, but we'll get there soon enough. I'm really hoping we actually manage to break level 20 at this point. I also really appreciate this thing here, the Rune Tracer. Why? Because it's piercing. And it bounces around. If anything, if I could get more of those, I'd be very happy. Hey, look at that. Right there. Big old DPS without really having to get close, and that's ultimately what I want. Alright. Can you please do something? Preferably, if need be. There we go. A red gem, ladies and gentlemen. on top of that, even more zesty levels. And there we go. Oh, you know what? You sound like the two-knobbing robot. You know what? If I sound like... What's his name? What is his name? I don't remember. Okay then, if I sound like Cowboy Bebop Man, then all the better. Frankly speaking, it's just telling me that, hey, I want to get into voiceover at some point in my life. It'd be nice to. Well, to be fair, I mean Tom's voice actor, but yes, you're right about that. Hello, Namu. I hope your holiday season has been going well. Are you indeed in need of a drink? I would imagine. In fact, give me a brief moment here. There we go. Then, the streamer actually hydrates. It's more likely than you think. But yeah, for the most part, it's just one of those things that has me like, people tell me I have a quality voice. I've been trying to find it more as I've been streaming, and you know what? It's been working. Got you some Ovaltine, so you think you're doing alright. I wish I could drink milk. You must voice act. You have such a smooth and relaxed voice, yet demanding and professional. Well, that's a compliment that I would not have expected at this juncture, but I'm glad. If you do think it's worth it, then consider using one of the meme redeems for me. I will gladly read something out for you at some point. What's that? Everybody should be spending their Megadir tokens. What's that? Hoarding is for suckers. I am inclined to say so. But yeah, that's a thing I remember hearing once in a while. My voice is relaxed, professional, but also somehow commanding, to which I say, that did not used to be the case. I actually may or may have not been a little bit timid with how I do things, but at the same time, it's, to put it in one person's perspective, it's finding a place where you can speak with authority that matters to me. So, at the very least, if you're telling me that, then that must mean I'm using the stream effectively to make this work for myself. You sound like a space naval officer? Well, we were just talking about Warhammer, so I guess that fits. Master Chief, what do you think you're doing? Sir, I don't know. They told me I could be on Paramount Plus, and you know what? Paramount Plus is Paramount Plus. I don't think many are subscribed to it. Speaking of ripping off Gianni, he may be a little bit of an inspiration as well to me, possibly just because, you know, everybody loves Gabriel Ultrakill, am I right? Personally, I'm just reminded I wish I were better at that game, because frankly speaking, it'd be a good time to see. Speaking of Ultrakill, they also added support for things I'm not going to say on the stream because, you know, 18 plus does not mean triple X, but frankly, the idea that they added support for something like that officially, and then somebody comes out, okay, they've added the streamer mode, is just, you know, that's comedy right there. I mean, if I have to be on Star Trek, I'm gonna act my ass off on Star Trek. True. But at the same time, I don't want to be the Will Wheaton of the show, you know? I am not a Welshie. But at the same time, I'm not a Picard either. I guess I'm more of a Worf. By which I mean I like honor. But at the same time, I guess it's a matter of you give me a part, I will do my best to act the part. Also, give me a brief second here. I need to see Madam Run Candle or Candle. Regardless, thank you for that follow. I hope you're enjoying your night.
Thank you!
As you can see, Vampire Survivors is a game that costs $4 and has provided me great value right at the start. Of course, and thank you. You're very welcome. As I understand it, life is rough, and frankly speaking, whatever joy we can get in the time of our lives is the most important thing to look forward to. Money, no. Value, yes. Candle, no. Chicken, maybe. Or gold. Gold is always good. But yeah, going back to the whole meme redeem thing, it also has me like, at some point or another, I do want to diversify the redeems, you know? At the very least, I know for a fact that what I've been able to do with Trigger Fire has been very fun in my opinion, but at the same time, it's just like everything and everywhere all at once. Perhaps, but at the same time, it's just like, the more we understand, the more we actually get to work with things. It's like how people would argue up and down that Vroid is not an actual VTuber model platform, to which I say, I've seen so many people do more with Vroid than I have with L2D, and it's just like, you know, it's really not about the medium, it's about your ability to make it work. It's like me being a TokuTuber explaining, you know how everybody thinks that Kamen Rider and Sentai and Ultraman are just Japanese Power Rangers? No. In fact, frankly speaking, Power Rangers is kind of just a thing that it keeps itself, especially with how many people refuse to just let Mighty Morphin be its own thing and move on with other stuff. Nostalgia's good, but nostalgia does not actually improve on what's there. Also, more water. More water. It's important to stay hydrated in this our time of peril. By which I mean, not only is it cold out there, it also saps the air out of the air, so you know what? I'm just gonna keep running horizontally, and if you get hit, that's your fault. Power Rangers needs what Digimon Ghost Game has. It needs a major return to form, or it just needs to accept its death. To which I say, another Digimon Ghost Game fan in the chat. Whoa, what a surprise. To be fair, I haven't been keeping up. I'm just over here thinking to myself, Garamon is being voiced by one of my favorite Japanese voice actresses, so I kinda need to do something about that. I like the baby Triceratops, that's for sure. Also, you haven't, but you want to? That's valid, I understand. Personally, I'm just overthinking it myself. Seasonal anime is seasonal anime, by which I mean it's drowning me in content that I'm not sure is actually good or not. If anything, I'm just over here thinking to myself, I finally started watching Symphogear, and you know what? It's alright. I enjoy it for the reasons I enjoyed Metal Gear Rising. It's dumb, it's fun, and the boss music is lit. Also, gay women, I think? Yes. I realize it's not everybody's thing, but at the same time, it hits alright for me. It's certainly not the second coming of Christ, as some in the fandom would make it out to be, but it's good in the same way Bullet Train has been good for me. Granted, those characters are not dicks to each other, but even still. Also, from what little I've seen, it's just regular Digimon, and that's what we all wanted. It's Digimon, but it's also a mystery show. And also, you know, the bonds of friendship, and the bonds of not actually just out here, completely disregarding everybody else in your cast for the sake of Taichi Kamiya, am I right? Is this a riff on Adventure 2020? Maybe. Maybe. I like the lightning. I may not enjoy Metallica as much as some people, but I do like Ride the Lightning. I do like the way Cliff plays his bass. Alright, I wish to leave. Something about Adventure 02 Tamer's formula can get stale, but it's better to get bored of something than, well, it's better to get bored of something soothing rather than ruin it. Which is to say, how do you feel about Digimon Frontier? Depending on your answer, I may have thoughts. But then again, granted, Digimon Frontiers, well, Saber/Data Squad was my favorite. Why? Because frankly speaking, I'm a fan of the character who just frankly speaking takes matters into his own hands, you know? And then punches you with it. Also, something about Crispin Freeman, and you know. Come to think of it, I think Jameson Price was also in that show, and that may have been a formative experience for me in regards to who do I appreciate listening to when it comes to English dubbed anime. Hey look, a screen nuke. Hey look, gotcha. It's a controversial halfway point of the series. They did a lot right and did a lot wrong, but I think I don't want them to do a clone of that show. Yeah, fair. Personally speaking, I am of a mind of as long as it doesn't kill the series, then you should be allowed to experiment. Experimentation lets you know what works and what doesn't. It also doesn't make you pull a game freak and force your entire development staff to work on some person's pet project so they will not feel burnout when you're forced to make a yearly Pokemon sequel. What's that, Little Town Hero? Nope. We don't speak its name no more. I like Data Squad, but I don't think it's one of those shows I can watch a second time. That's also fair. I more so watch it for specific moments, rather than watch it the entire way through. I'm also the kind of person who just goes, I enjoy the lore of Digimon for some reason. I haven't watched since, what's it called, Cross Wars? Yeah, and frankly speaking, it's just one of those things. Maybe when Ghost Game is over, I'll go back and binge it, but for right now, I think I'm alright watching it from afar. I wish to see its progress. Marcus was likable in a lot of ways, but sometimes he was just not too Dracula. By which I mean, I have not watched Fairy Tail, but I know what you mean. Personally, I'm thinking to myself, I remember Data Squad. It was definitely not as all in your face about the power of friendship, was it? If anything, it was the power of camaraderie, but you know what I mean. I know nothing about Natsu, but Marcus is one of my faves. This is true, but at the same time, I don't think any Digimon protagonist is bad. It's just more so when the writers just kind of pay more attention to them than developing actual characters. Again, Adventure 2020, but at the same time, it's one of those things that's like, I don't expect much from Digimon in the first place. Okay, fair enough. I didn't watch Cross Wars. That's an opinion I don't have enough information to give. If he was bad, then I guess he was bad. You aren't missing a lot. That's what I've heard. I've also heard people fight to the death about Cross Wars, but also it's just like, I'm the kind of person who will tell you, hey, look at that, Fate Grand Order sure is a thing. It's kind of a mixed bag. But I appreciated its existence, and yet I also don't, because I don't really care much for Gacha. And I will immediately sideline to, hey, look at that, you should play Hawkeye Impact 3rd. It's like Ruby, but the writers actually know what they're doing. You know what? Or Cross. And cross me off of the list. Okay, let's see here. Bone Lord, but also Porta. But also, I can't unlock him even still. I need money. I really need money. Let's see here. Let's try you again. When they did a good job, they did good. When they did bad, they did really bad. I just like the supporting cast more. That's fair. Again, what do you mean Thomas Norstein was pretty alright? He had a pretty decent development. He had a pretty good dub actor. Frankly speaking, I also like Mirage Galgamon. I think Mach Galgamon is a better design for me, but that's just me. In another timeline, he would be the ultimate Digimon that Marcus had, but at the same time, it's all about Agumon, right? Come to think of it, there's a lot of partner Digimon that's just some variant of Greymon, isn't it? Even Frontier was just like, you know what, you're the kind of sort of descendant of ancient Greymon. Also, he was a Mary Sue with no personality, and Tageru was just annoying, but he was goofy as opposed to just a piece of paper. Yeah, I feel you on that. As much as Mary Sue is kind of an antiquated term, I also understand the annoyance that comes from a character that just doesn't do anything. Which I feel as though that's how most people feel about Sword Art Online, myself included, but I have not read the novels to actually confirm. It seems like A1 Pictures did an A1 Pictures and made the adaptation bad on purpose. But then again, it's Sword Art Online. It's wish fulfillment through and through, so do I care that much? Not really. Another thing I won't acknowledge is anything about Zoe. I am forgetting who Zoe is, actually. Again, personally speaking, this is just stuff I know more about in the interim than actual personal knowledge, so personally, as long as you people do not fight in my stream, anything is good. Seriously though, I would prefer we don't. Okay, she was Kazemon. Fair enough. The French one, alright. And to be fair, there was some weird stuff about her character as well, but it's probably not worth acknowledging. Careful with your wording there, because frankly speaking, I'm not about it. Like I said, there's some weird stuff here, but it's probably not worth acknowledging. If anything, I'm just over here thinking to myself, I like the concept of those 10 Digimon. It's just a matter of, what are we working with here? One of them was just a regular gnome, and I'm just like, you've been gnomed in 2003? Alrighty then. And then he turned into a brick troll, and you know, that just makes sense. And then Mercurymon, I really liked Mercurymon. He was a massive ham, and frankly speaking, the fact that he turned into a literal Dark Angel sells it for me. Also, when are we getting a proper Power Ranger cross Digimon when Haim Saban is less garbage? I don't think this is a controversial take either. Haim Saban, frankly speaking, is not exactly great. Not exactly terrible. He did bring Power Rangers over. He also ruined my chance of the decent Kamen Rider adaptation in the West. Also, welcome back, Noir. As you can imagine, we turned this around into a Digimon conversation somehow. I don't know how, but once again, let's be civil about it. That being said, I'm having fun. Tell me, what is your opinion on... I don't know, Leviathan? I feel like Digimon is in that same place with me as SMT. It's just like, I may not have played all the entries, but I do appreciate the designs. What are we going to talk about Digimon Frontier? We were literally just talking about it. Ooh, here is a Mercurymon fan, because I am. I am. Magic wand. Make my monster grow, possibly. Alright, where else are we going with this? There's something about a trashy mermaid queen with a southern accent that's just timelessly funny, and I was sad to see her go. Yeah. I will also say this much, Calmeramon is kind of a downgrade in my opinion, but I feel as though that was kind of the point with how they wrote it. These spirits are weird like that, but some of them hit better than others. Okay, that's all of my health. Nope, nope, no, 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 no. Oh, Lord.
Oh no!
Good boy. Oh, Lordy. I feel like how Calmeramon was handled in Ghost Game was pretty good. She's in Ghost Game. I know apparently Sakyamon shows up in there. Why? Because spoilers, but if anything, I may have to go look and see Legacy Digimon in my 2022 anime, and it's actually not a reboot. It's more likely than you think. See here. You know what? Upgrades. What works? See, inflicted damage, cooldown area, armor, recovery, duration, magnet. I want to be able to get more thing. I want an episode with a bunch of Calmeramon kidnapped a bunch of sailors. I feel like this is a thing that could work. I wouldn't mind seeing that myself. Personally, it's just a matter of what is Toei willing to experiment with, and if I know Toei, they don't like experimenting. They want marketability more than anything else. To which I say, you know what, hey look, Commander Gates is actually pretty good. I like the better look next time Fox Boy getting his hands dirty to the point that, hey look at that, you can't get a fast one over me, I'm clever like a fox. If you had a Digimon partner, what do you think yours would be? I'm not even sure. I don't know. I like Vandemon a lot. Wait. Neo Devimon, actually. I don't know, he's nutty, I like it. What's that one that's a fusion of Myotismon and Piedmon? I would like that as well. Also, I feel like they won't innovate until Toei Plus happens. I mean, they kind of have that in the form of the Toei Tokusatsu fan club, but I guess I know what you mean. There was talk about there's some sort of Toei streaming service at some point, but it seems to me like that may have just been speculation on Westerners' parts. Namely because people were mad at Funimation being Funimation, but you know how it is. Hey, no, stop, please. Also, can I just say, I'm genuinely not a fan of everything needs to be a streaming service. At this point, this is just Cable 2. And frankly, Cable 1 was never even that great. Also, you had a Caramon in Dusk, which sounds bad, but I don't think that would be worse than having a Guzzlord or Snorlax. I'm not familiar with Caramon, but by the sound of it, it sounds like he's a big eater, am I right? Alright then, I'm glad I understand context clues. Also, you had Zed Millennium on. So you want to ring in the Apocalypse, I see. Wait, is Caramon the bug that evolves into Diablomon? I feel like I remember that. Okay then, I'm glad. I watched the Fox Kids Digimon movie back in the day. I know something or somewhat. Namely the fact that the bare naked ladies were in it, and I'm just like, alright, I guess it really was 1 week since you looked at me. Can I just say, I like that song for what it is, but at the same time, I had a job that played it like 3 to 5 times in a day, and it's just like, God damn, please play something else. It's even worse when you're working in 30-degree weather on top of that, and it's just like, I understand, but I also refuse to understand. Also, Caramon evolves into a demon virus bent on blowing the human world and eating the digital world. Crazy. But I get what you mean. Also, there has been an instance where Diaboromon was heroic, though. You know what? I can believe that. If we can all take tropes from Go Nagai's Devilman, I think anything works. And as I say that, Anata is awfully close to Akita, so... Honestly, Cyber Sleuth is on sale right now. I may have to actually bone up and pick it up, but if anything, it will be put there for another day. I would rather do it on stream than anything else. Unfortunate for me, it's kind of seeming like aside from Gacha, I've been using the stream as an excuse to play things I otherwise wouldn't, but then again, isn't that kind of the point? I mean, look at it this way, this stream actually got me to play Fortnite, so something must be working. It's no gacha elements aside from Digimetal machines, yeah. If anything, I'm just like, you understand, I wish to play Hawkeye. It's the only gacha game I actually enjoy. I was playing Nikkei for a while, but at the same time, Tencent is Tencent, and Tencent doesn't deserve my 10 cents. That may or may not be a factor of why I don't play Warframe anymore either. That, or if the grind is too much and it makes my head hurt. I do think you'd enjoy it at any rate. I can recommend a mean support Imperial Dramon build that I use. I would like to see it. I would also like to commit the cardinal sin of just being on brand in fusing Mastodon, but even still, I like the Angel. I always wanted a Penguinmon that had a voice and personality of a sassy, tough 40-year-old black woman, because I think deep down I know that's the only thing that reins me in. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Basically, you want a partner, not a talking pet. Makes me wonder how you feel about a little-known visual novel series called AI The Somnium Files. Because I feel like those kind of characters exist in that. Okay, I'm not paying any more attention. Please save me. Sound cool? What's it about? It's about a cop from the future with amnesia and his talking eyeball companion who solve mysteries involving people losing their eyes because of a serial killer that takes their eyes. And frankly speaking, it's good. The writing is good. People really, really lionize the director and the writer, and it's just like, at the same time, I'm not going to call it cringe, because frankly speaking, you're allowed to enjoy what you like, but at the same time, it speaks volumes that me, somebody who does not particularly care about that writing style, would recommend it, and its sequel. I may have not played Zero Escape, but at the same time, I like what they did in this game. Sounds Knight Rider-ish. To be fair, he does drive a vintage car. Also, yeah, you also gather clues by using astral projection through the form of syncing in order to actually explore people's dreams and gather details based on that. It's fun. I would highly recommend you give it a chance if you can. Hello, Bats. It is again I, here to say... Hello, Centris. What's your favorite Digimon?
A test of your reflexes!
My favorite Digimon? Yes. Reminds me of Bubblegum Crisis 2. I want a Bubblegum Crisis reboot. But it's just the cop and the cop guy, his gay partner, the black police chief, and his cute niece. Well, gee, that's literally just AI's entire cast right there. To be fair, the gay partner is a non-binary bartender, but you understand what I mean. Let's see here. Do I have the mates? Do I have the greed, actually? I'd like more gold. If anything, I need more gold if I'm gonna get more of this. This show sounds rad as hell. It's actually a video game series. Granted, I could imagine they could adapt it into an actual anime, but at the same time, I feel like that would cheapen the experience. It's like playing Danganronpa. Depending on who you are and what time period you're in, you may not want to play Danganronpa. You know what, can I please just keep this? Look at all this spicy energy that's protecting me. I would also recommend playing 13 Sentinels if you want a visual novel / mech combat RPG that's basically 10 different sci-fi stories in one, and they all work. Also, maybe a subtle nod to Madoka Magica. What am I talking about? It's not subtle. Also, we don't talk about Tumblr's obsession with Danganronpa. To be fair, they've been pretty quiet about it lately. Alright, what we dropping?
Hoy, what are you saying?
Look at me. I'm the holy woman enjoying my night on the town. With my magnetic personality and my ability to use herbs and spices to my advantage in the name of the Lord. In fact, here's some clover. Well, once again, garlic is your friend. More garlic. Because it's my friend. So what's been the vibe tonight? A little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything for... What a quaint general stream with a little bit of everything for day-to-day existence. But yeah, it's mostly just, I would like to reach level 20 in this game before the stream ends out, and you know... If anything, we've just been kind of talking it out throughout the entire thing. We're talking Digimon, we're talking game recommendations, we're talking things we want to do in the future, we're talking, for some reason or other, people really like my voice, and that's just making me feel very good about myself tonight, so thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you!
And before I bring up Miyuki Sawashiro again, because she's in apparently a lot of stuff lately, I gotta say, this stream has been my kind of stream. Great job. Well, that just lionizes me further. If anything, if you do want to see our regular content, we've been streaming SMT5 and Ninja Gaiden Sigma lately, and frankly speaking, both have been giving me a run for my money. If anything, I want to be the action game VTuber. I want to be the guy. No, I don't want to play I want to be the guy. If anything, if you do enjoy my vibe, I'm over here thinking to myself, I don't really know how call to actions work. It's just like, if you like what I do, spread it around. Maybe make clips of things you find funny while I'm at it. I will add them to things that may help us continue to grow, and I will be the better for it. I will continue to be the better streamer. Monster Hunter might be good action. I do need to grind up the Sunbreak, I know that for sure. I want to be famous. I don't know about that, but I would like to be comfortable. Also, is that a Total Drama reference in 2022? Oh, baby. Also, I don't know how to clip. How do I clip? If you're on mobile, there should be a dedicated button for it. If not, it should look like that thing that directors use to start filming a scene. You click on that, it'll give you up to 60 seconds of footage to work at from that time period, and that is how you make your clip. Well, Total Drama is supposed to be coming back. I don't think it should. I think it should exist as a product of its time, not gonna lie. Ow.
Bird up.
What is that? Okay, fire another projectile. I like that. It may actually help us get to where we need to be. It may in fact help us actually get out of this ring of very ornery plants. Also, the new cast looks kind of basic, but like there's gonna be actual focus on the group and do this same thing they did in the 2000s for a kids show, so maybe it will be good. As long as it isn't the Ben 10 reboot, I think I'll be alright. Sometimes you babyfy things too much, you know? Which isn't to say a show can't be bad for a new audience, it's just a matter of where's the drama? There's a Ben 10 reboot, yeah, and people who were fans of the OG series were very, very disappointed. But then again, was it for them to begin with? I don't know. It's like Thundercats Roar, you kind of write it off as a tax write-off and don't think about it. Okay, it definitely doesn't look like Ben 10. Well, at least that's a good start. If anything, I'm over here thinking to myself, this exists because people did not watch Thundercats 2011. Myself included, but even still, I like the 80s show. I grew up with the 80s show, right up there with Knights of the Zodiac. If you know, you know. Granted, I don't remember a lot about Saint Seiya, but at the same time, that gets multiple reboot series, and frankly speaking, they've all been decently good. At least that's from what I hear. Also, what? People in the modern day hate 3D animation? Never heard that. Me out here enjoying Yarrow the animation. We also had uncanny puppets and we appreciated it. What do you mean? The Dark Crystal was made in the 80s. Get a kid to watch Reboot. To be fair, get a kid to watch Donkey Kong Country, and maybe they may change their tune. Was talking about Mr. Meaty. Okay, yeah, true. That was a very bizarre kind of show. Frankly speaking, it's the eyes that make it uncanny for me. Or the real adventures of Johnny Quest. His adventures were fake, let's be real. If the Venture Brothers has taught me anything, it's that, frankly speaking, young boy adventurers is a genre that probably shouldn't have gotten as popular as it did. Also, I'm gonna say about Thundercats 2011 is that as problematic as SPOP 2019 was, those shows were very similar, and I don't see how anyone can love one and hate the other. I'm not... Oh. You're talking about Netflix She-Ra. To be fair, I don't even think it was a bad show. I just didn't care for it. I definitely got what I got out of it, but at the same time, it's more so, I personally found it a little bit long in the tooth. If anything, I know a relative of mine is incredibly into 80s She-Ra, to which I say, this is fair. Both it and He-Man were toy commercials, but at the same time, you know. Sometimes I look at it and go, there are worse examples. Kevin Spacey's Masters of the Universe Revelation, for example. That's just kicking people while they're down. I'm not a fan of blatant disregard for the fans, you know? Especially in post-2020, when everybody was kicking it themselves for the depression and the death and the cynicism, and frankly speaking, nobody really needed that. I keep getting distracted by video games, too bad to watch anything. I know how you feel. Personally speaking, it's just, there's so much stuff here, and frankly speaking, I see too much of it on the social media, and it's just turning me off of watching the actual show. Meme culture may be at fault, but then again, people just don't know how to recommend things to me. Granted, my own taste is just really up there in terms of giant... I don't know how to describe Garo based on what people are into, but you said you were into the furry culture, Jim. How do you feel about an extremely handsome modern-day Arthurian knight turning into a giant golden wolf man? Because that is essentially what Garo is about. Hey look, skeletons. Hey look, an easy way out. Also, and if you do, I need to have someone to watch with me so I can stay focused on it, or I drop off harder than a rock on a cliff. Again, I feel as though this is kind of endemic of streamer culture, but at the same time, I know what you mean. Why do people not talk about 2022 He-Man show? It's childish, but it looks way better than Revelations and no one talks about it. Is it a little bit of the fact that it looks doofy, therefore it looks like it's only for kids? Because that's also a factor of probably why people don't watch Kamen Rider the way some of us in the Toku community do. There's definitely adult elements in this. It's just a matter of we want to have fun as cynical adults approaching their 30s, you know? There's too much darkness in the world. Sometimes you just need the funny man but look like a candy-colored toy to actually help us remind ourselves that there's hope in the world. It's like those people who act as though all JRPGs stopped at Final Fantasy VII, and it's just like, you do realize that this thing is kind of antiquated as all shit, right? And that, when do we get Generator Rex? When people remember Generator Rex. And frankly speaking, I remember Generator Rex. I liked it a lot. When do we get a new Tekkaman Blade? Oh, I don't know. When do we get the Gao vs. Betterman OVA? Also, it's clear to me Man of Action won't return to form. I don't know, they've been making Sonic Prime and it's pretty good. Hey, wait, stop. You're blocking my meat. Please, no. I say never touch Generator Rex or Secret Saturdays ever again. That's a good take. I will clap to that. Has Man of Action been involved in any project as of recently? Yeah. Like I just said, Sonic Prime, they're literally doing it right now. Also, what about this knight that turns into a knight? Okay, so let me get my notes out real quick. 2005's Golden Knight Garo is a show about a man who is belonging to a particular order that has existed since antiquity, protecting humanity from demonic beasts that feed off of the negative karma of the human soul, recognizing that while evil does exist, it still does not deny humans the right to try to be better. And basically, this is just, hey, look at that. You like King Arthur, you like furries, you like monsters, you like goated monster design, you like really good practical effects, you like Jam Project, go watch Garo. In fact, if you're so interested, I'm pretty sure the actual producers have put the entire first season on YouTube with full English subs. So, if you're interested, maybe follow my Twitter so I can put a link to that up there as well, so I can get that for you if you're so inclined. Please understand, this is part of my brand, but if anything, I will shill till we get another season. Am I doing the sales pitch right? We did just have a sponsor stream, so an 800 house by driving, am I right? I don't know how to I don't use Twitter, but how do I spell that? In fact, give me a brief second here. I can pull up a link, I think. I apologize for being on my phone during stream, but at the same time, information is needed. Okay, yeah. Go look up Garo Project. It should be the first link. It should take you directly to their channel. Also, I will be forced to remind you there is a little bit of nudity in it, but at the same time you're watching an HV Plus stream, I would assume you're an adult. What was that, a little bit of body horror in my Japanese action show? I would not believe. What matters is it's tasteful more than it's not. I'm an adult and I feel old as shit. Good, I've been 30 years old since I've been 15. As you can understand by my voice and my inflection, and my inability to appreciate things older, well, younger than 1995's Mobile Fighter G Gundam, I have opinions, and frankly speaking, they may be salty. To which I say, hey, look at you, real robot fan who acts as though G Gundam is a sin of God. I will tell you that frankly speaking, God is not about you. Is Steven Universe the anti-Man of Action? What, in the fact that Man of Action actually knows how to stay on model? To be fair, I feel as though Steven Universe is basically just Dragon Ball Z without a character who feels the need to murder everything in sight, so you get what you get. Whether or not that's actually good is up for the watcher to decide. They had Jasper, and they know why she was there. True. Everybody appreciates a muscular woman. And even if you don't, you appreciate a confident woman as well, don't you? A personally never really understood why people watched Steven Universe. Something about it didn't really gel with me. I think it's more of the fact that it was a very comforting show for some. Personally, I just thought it was there. I use it as background noise, but from what I understand, that's kind of the general take of it. Not to mention the fact that it's also got the Life is Strange badge of honor in the fact that we kind of don't really have these tropes for these kinds of pieces of media at the time. So, you know, understand where it comes from, but that doesn't mean you have to like it. I don't want to let strong women intimidate me, but I feel like she would kill her simps. I mean, she kinda has. Let's be real here. The fact of the matter is that that show really, really wants to hammer down the idea that these gems do not value life. You're part of a collective. You're number one. Well, they don't... It's not that they don't value life, it's more that they don't value individuality. As well as organic beings, but still. Hey look, bats. Hey look, they're not actually getting off a hit on me. It's nice. I have full health and I'm still kicking strong. Question is, how much further can we take this? Another Bible? Another Bible! Bats. Hello, Humbug. As you can see, the vampires will survive. I don't know, is Namu still here? That's up for debate. Do you feel like a Bathead tonight? You might. Apparently, this is really popping off in a strange way, and I'm glad for it. Also, don't get me wrong, this is still technically not your Castlevania game that you wanted me to stream, but at the same time, I'm debating about that. On one hand, Symphony of the Night, on another, Rondo, on another hand, Komaju Densetsu, aka, when is Yomu gonna show up in her Argyle sweater? I wish to see it. That's a real thing that exists, by the way. They really, really made Touhouvania into an official game, and I'm just glad for it. And once again, they put Raiden May's voice actor in it. I'm inclined to buy it just for that. Come on, I'm throwing the book at you. Yeah, exactly, Saku. You know who I'm talking about. It's Yamamon. It's on Switch. Just like that fabled Switch port of Touhou Luna Nights that I'm not even sure we actually got. Also, it's designed to look like this. Yes, it's literally Symphony of the Night, but Touhou. To the point that I'm pretty sure it's just a retread of Touhou 6, if I remember correctly. I need to look at prices because Bloodstain has me thirsty for Egavanias. You're right. Also, that's Touhouvania 1. Is this not? Also, excuse me one sec, more water is needed. Alrighty then. Congratulations, chat. You have not had to use a single hydrate dream aside from the first one. 2 is Symphony of the Night fair. Understandable. If anything, I'm just over here like, there are people who believe that Castlevania starts at Symphony of the Night, to which I say, understandable, but at the same time, I do appreciate Rondo a lot. Why? Because everybody's friend and yours, Ryu from Streets, is out here doing his best. He's gonna fight Dracula, he's gonna save his girlfriend, he's gonna let Maria Renard clown on Dracula so hard. With the power of her Chinese constellation animal, she will eventually, I don't know, grow up to be in love with Alucard? I don't get it. Actually, never mind, I do get it. He's a mysterious pretty boy with a deep voice, and frankly speaking, it was the 90s. They were all about that. I'm looking at Golden Knight Garo, and I am pleased. Alrighty, chat, I got another one. The images, anyway. Alrighty then. If anything, I will say if the imagery pleases you, then frankly speaking, I hope the show beats you. It's technically a Monster of the Week show, but at the same time, it eventually delves into its underlining plot. It's also got a lot of really good fight choreography. It's also got, hey, you in the chat, if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, consider the fact that one of the actors that shows up in Garo Season 1 is actually the guy playing Tsurugetsu in the Jujutsu Kaisen stage play, so it's nice. I am very glad for Rei Fujita's success. You know what, this is probably gonna kill me. But, never mind. Garo also had a crossover with the critically acclaimed MMO something free trial blah blah blah. Would you like to talk about the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with its free expansion of Heavensward, where you can play up to level 60 with no restrictions on playtime? Because frankly speaking, I've been a little bit burnt out, but at the same time, I get it. If anything, though, frankly speaking I hope you're having a happy holiday humbug. I may have not said it, but at the same time, Merry Christmas, everybody. Mer Crimbo. Merry Chrysler. And if anything, I think as though this might be a decent stopping point. We did not get where we need to be, but at the same time, this has been a very good one-off, if I have to say so. We may be doing this again, in fact, but at the same time, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just do a proper Castlevania game when the time comes, but at the same time, it feels good. It very much feels good, so from me to you, thank you. Expect either more SMT or more Ninja Gaiden as we go along, but at the same time, though, that's for after Christmas. Enjoy your gifts, everybody. I hope you get something nice, but from me to you, stay safe, stay happy, stay warm, drink water, maybe get vaccinated while you're at it, and I hope to see you again very soon. Also, is there a big muscly bar man in the show that you like? That's actually Garo Vanishing Line. The main protagonist is so beefy that his pecs don't fit in a tuxedo, but even still, if anything, I would say please consider watching it, at least for my sake. If you value me and you value my opinions, you may enjoy what I offer, but once again, we'll talk about it when we talk about it. Watching what? Garo. Grao. If anything, it's probably one of those shows that inspired my VTubing brand in the first place, so consider if you would, if you don't mind. But for real though, I'll see you again probably Wednesday. But, once again, thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.